to our July meetup. I can't remember seeing more than a dozen people here at a July or an August meetup, so thanks so much for coming.
Give yourselves a hand for that.
Supporting interaction and participation in Philadelphia politics. We are really, there's a special election coming up August 11th. And we have a couple of candidates, 2 or 3 candidates on our list tonight to hear from. But first, we have a candidate for City Council for Philadelphia, an independent candidate. And before I go any further, I actually want to stop and mention our video policy, which is relatively new because we had a Republican tracker come in to embarrass somebody.
Yeah.
We just prefer if you're not videotaping in order to embarrass people.
However,
we do respect your First Amendment rights, and so what we ask is that you just let Sam or I know if you're planning to videotape or audio tape and who you're working for. John is working for no one here, just videotaping because he got an awesome camera.
I'm going to put it on my YouTube and my website.
Okay.
But he's not videotaping for his employer.
And you know me, I'm down with the cause, man.
So thank you for letting us know. You can run up to one of us personally. It is fine.
Yeah.
As you know, there are 7 at-large seats for City Council. Jump in here if you have something.
I believe you're about to talk about the at-large.
And 2 of them are set aside for the non-dominant party. I'm not sure if that's what they say in the non-dominant, the right hand or the left hand. The non-majority party. And so therefore, it doesn't have to be a Republican that takes those 2 seats. We certainly want to encourage more participation from other parties, although Philly for Change identifies as Democrats. We are a chapter of Democracy for America.
Large and small d.
We're both large D and small d. We're a chapter of Democracy for America, which was founded in 2004 by Howard Dean, and we support Democratic candidates, but we have also supported other candidates, including Republicans, in certain instances.
Yes, I'll jump in and just say we have a history now since 2011. 2011 was our first year in which we voted as a group to allow endorsement votes for non-Democrats. Being from Democracy for America, we came out of the 2003, 2004 Howard Dean campaign. We had always endorsed Democrats, but I believe our first non-democratic endorsee, someone we voted on and voted for, was Shariangula for sheriff in 2011. And that same year, we endorsed Al Schmidt for city commissioner and David Owen for council.
So we do have a precedent. There was a quote that we remembered from the very beginning of Democracy for America, where Howard Dean said, we're going to support Democrats, especially in primaries, and even we may support some Republicans if they're not running against Democrats. So we figured it was along the lines of the national group, and also a way for us to continue to participate in our city elections after the primaries in a city like Philadelphia.
And to keep you and your friends involved in politics up to the very important November election, so that we don't get crushed in important elections such as state Supreme Court.
And let's mention that we do think, we expect to see David O before the election, and you're all welcome to come on back. And Al Schmidt, and we're welcome to come all back and hold their feet to the fire about that endorsement.
And Chris Sawyer, too.
So without any further ado, I want to introduce and I'll let you do your own introduction, but our first candidate is running for city council. He's an independent. His name's Andrew Stilber.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me here tonight. Thanks for everyone coming out. I just also want to recognize Kristen Combs, who's running as a Green Party candidate for City Council at large, because Kristen and I actually just met for the first time tonight. But one thing I know that we have in common is the belief that we don't have to be stuck in November with who the Republicans offer us for City Council at large seats. We can have people on City Council at large who reflect the values of the people in this room, the progressive values of the people in this room. And that is something that I want to talk to you tonight about, how I represent those values, and hopefully will earn your support both tonight and going forward in this election. For the last 6.5 years, actually really for the last almost a decade, I've worked in state and local government, making it work better for all of its citizens. For the last 6.5 years, I worked in the Nutter administration. I ran the mayor's office of transportation and utilities. I helped create the Indigo Bike Share program. One of the things that we're most proud of about the Indigo Bike Share program is it was designed from day one to work for everyone in its service area. More than half of everybody who lives in the Indigo service, more than half I should say, of all of the people in Philadelphia who live in poverty, live in the Indigo service area. And that meant it was incumbent for the system to work for all of those people. And it meant that they needed to have access to it, because that, in fact, while many of the folks in this room may enjoy being able to hop on a bike share bike and save money over a cab ride or get somewhere a little bit faster or enjoy a beautiful day, the people who stand to benefit the most from a new low-cost form of transportation are those with the lowest incomes in the city. If you can move from buying a weekly SEPTA pass at $24 a week and instead have a monthly Indigo pass for $15 and just buy a few tokens to supplement your trips, that's real money that's going back into your wallet that you can spend in your own neighborhood, and money that you need very much. And we did that in our office in a pretty common sense way. We looked at the best practices and also the worst practices from around the country. But most importantly, we actually talked to Philadelphians. And we talked particularly to low-income Philadelphians. We partnered with the Temple Institute for Survey Research, and we talked to them about what the barriers they perceived to bike share were and what they saw the opportunities. And we shaped our policies in ways that are different from every other city in the country to make sure it works. And guess what? It has worked. There have been, to date, more than 115,000 trips taken on the Indigo bike share system. But it's not just about bike share. It's about other work that we've done, and always having an eye on how it's meeting the needs of all Philadelphians. The city spends $100 million a year on its own utility bills. And we literally had the windows open, and we're throwing money out the window. Dollars that could have been going to our schools, to social services, to public safety, to public pensions, to things that really matter, and we were just wasting it on energy. So we built an energy office of energy professionals who helped us bring down our bills by millions of dollars a year, money that could go back into those core services and increase our use of renewable energy. When we have been in a time when in Washington, the way that transportation funding gets doled out has changed dramatically. Earmarks are over. It doesn't matter how influential your congressperson is. It doesn't matter if they're chairman of the Transportation Committee. Money is now distributed at the national level by formula and by competitive grants. And this region, and with Philadelphia at the center of it, has won every round of competitive grant making for the last 6 years. There's only one other region that's done that in the country, that's Chicago. They've had a little bit of an advantage in Washington in the past few years. We're very proud of the work that we did, and very proud of our focus on, and a lot of people know that the new Schuylkill River Boardwalk, that was partially funded through one of these competitive grant programs. But what was also funded in that same set of funding was the 58th Street Greenway, putting a wonderful new pedestrian and bicycle amenity right through Southwest Philadelphia, connecting it to Cox.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
We did the same thing connecting Port Richmond to the Delaware River in a way it had never been connected before, putting a trail right through there. That was part of the package. When we upgraded, used funding to upgrade transit signals and speed the trips of transit riders all across the city, it wasn't in Center City that we did it. It was along Woodland Avenue in southwest Philadelphia. It was on Bustleton Avenue in northeast Philadelphia. And tens of thousands of transit riders every day have a little bit more time with their families or a little bit less rushed getting to work. And our infrastructure is upgraded from 1960s technology to 21st century technology. So my work in transportation, I brought the values of thinking about every Philadelphian to that work. And I want to bring that same thing to City Hall. The next mayor, and let's just be honest, we know it's going to be Mayor Kenny. We're going to need two things on City Council as it's related to Mayor Kenny. We're going to need someone who's going to be able to effectively partner with him when he's advancing causes and initiatives that are important to the folks in this room. We're also going to need someone who can effectively hold that mayor accountable. I can do both. Spent the past 10 years working in the executive branch of government. I know how budgets work. I know how the departments work. I know how to get things moving behind the scenes. I know how to get things moving in the public limelight. And I want to bring that skill set to City Council. And I'd love to answer any questions for as much time as I'm allowed to answer questions.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask you about bike lanes and your position on that.
Sure.
Thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Bike lanes are great. I get around primarily by two modes of transportation, my bike and SEPTA. I also have a car, which I use occasionally. I was very involved in piloting and successfully installing a number of bike lanes across the city. Again, this is one of these stories about what gets attention versus some of the stuff we were really doing. So, Spruce and Pine Street got an incredible amount of attention when we removed those vehicle lanes. What we also did was put in a buffered lane all the way from 23rd Street, all the way to the line of the city on Walnut Street. And we're going to be doing the same, and we've been working on that on Chestnut Street. Put bike lanes throughout North Philadelphia, buffer separated lanes to improve that. And we really need to have a voice for cyclists on City Council, that's for sure.